Okay. All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov, Efrat, and thank you everyone that joined our group. Wow, Shkoyach, it gives us all a big chizuk, and we're in Hilchas Ashkamas Habayker Dalid, and today we're up to Tez Vav. So let's review a little bit what we were doing yesterday, and let's understand really what Rav Nosson is bringing over here, and how did he bring in Chanukah and Purim, and what does Chanukah and Purim have to do with the Arapanim? What does it have to do with Hashkamas Habayker, right? We're in Hashkamas Habayker, so Chanukah and Purim, Hashkamas Habayker. So we said some beautiful ideas that we know that the Arapanim originates with the Shalosh Regalim. The Shalosh Regalim we know are Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, right? Pesach is the Yantav of Emunah, that's Avram Avinu, right? Yitzchak is Shavuos, Yaakov Avinu is Sukkot, right? So then the Anshe Knesset Gedolah set us up two other holidays, Chanukah and Purim, and those we said are Netzach and Hoid. Remember? Right? Avram is Chesed, Yitzchak is Gvura, like you were learning it this morning, right? All right? And then you have Yaakov Avinu, which is the perfect balance between Chesed and Gvura, gives you the Tferes, and then came Netzach, which is connected to Moshe Rabbeinu, and Hoid is connected to Aaron and Kohen. Right? Good? So far, so good. Now we were saying, and then Rav Nosson said that we're talking about the Shalosh Regalim, and what you had to do, be Oile Regel, right? You had to be Oile Regel. The mitzvah was you had to go and walk. You had to walk. You couldn't, ride on your wagon. You had to walk to Yerushalayim. That's what everyone did. We walked. It was with the feet. So now when Rav Nosson was saying, and how do you get to that? Because we were talking about tying the shoes. See, it's all, Rav Nosson will always lead on one thing to the next thing. So you're tying your shoes, now we're talking about walking. So that's really connected to Chanukah and Purim, which is connected to Bikur Chaylim. Why is it connected to Bikur Chaylim? Because we said, on the Shalosh Regalim, we have to go, we walk to Harabayas. We walk to the Beis HaMikdash. We do that. We come to the Melech. Right? And that's how we get the Aras Panim, by going to the king. We get to the king, we get the Aras Panim. When it comes to Chanukah, and that was the example that he gave us with if a person wants to see the king, so the better way he prepares himself, the more he cleans himself up, the better presenting, the more presentable he looks, the better, the closer he'll get to the king. Yeah. Right? If he looks too grungy, then they'll keep him further out. Right. Okay, but we said now, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu had compassion on Klal Yisrael, and he recognized the deep colors that we're in, and we really need some Aras Panim in this time. So he gave us these two beautiful holidays of Chanukah and Purim. Chanukah and Purim. So why now? Chanukah and Purim is where we said, like, when the king has somebody that's when you want to see the king, so then you have to prepare yourself and do what you have to do. But if someone from the king's people is ill, so then the king feels incumbent to come visit his constituent. What word do you want to use?
Constituents.
His constituent. Okay, good. A good word. You like it? Good. Okay. So that's now when HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to our homes, he comes to visit us. Chanukah, right? He brings the light of the candles. He brings us the light. That's the light of the Rebbeinu Shalom in. Okay. Now that's also connected to Bikur Chaylim. Why? Because again, we said that the Chayla has the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on the Shechina, which is really like he brought from the Zohar, which is the Tzaddikim, is in the head of the bed of the sick person. And that's how. And then when we come to visit the Chayla, we bring the Chayla some Aras Panim. We give because we're helping out the Chayla. So that's in that now. I want to say now we were talking about just a few minutes ago this thing with Uman, and can you go to Uman and this and this. So there's a wonderful story that I'd like to share with you. That happened in the time of the Holocaust. There was a little town. And the town, they knew that the Nazis, they were going to be coming to round them up in another day or two. They already they knew what was coming. So they told them that they can take a suitcase with, it could be no more than 10 kilo. Whatever you could take 10 kilo, you could take with you. Everything else you have to leave. So that most of the people were packing up. Some were packing up clothing because they had no idea they're going to go to work. They didn't know what they would have. So some packed clothing, some packed some food, some opened their jackets up and they stuffed money inside the jacket. And they had the jewels, they stuffed it in there. And there was one family. There's one family, and the father called his son, Yankel. He called him over, and he said to him, "Listen, do me a favor. I need my shirt ironed. Iron my shirt." So the son said to the father, "Daddy, we're going to be going to who knows where. Who's going to care if your shirt's ironed or not? I'm asking you to please iron my shirt." "Okay, fine, I'll iron your shirt." So he went to find the shirt and he did whatever. "Okay, Daddy, here's your shirt." No. Come on, what do you think? I asked you to iron my shirt. He didn't understand. "But Daddy, I don't understand. Who's going to care if your shirt? They're going to put us in some kind of train. Who's going to care? I want my shirt ironed. I want my shirt ironed." The kid thought his father went crazy. He went and ironed his shirt and he did a good job. And he brought it to his father. So his father said, "Listen, really, you're right, son. I didn't need my shirt ironed. But I want to give you a present. I want to give you a present. Everyone else is taking diamonds and gold and jewels and the money, and they're taking whatever they can to bribe Nazi, to do whatever they have no ideas of this. I want to give you the mitzvah of kibbud avayim." Right? That's the mitzvah. The Torah says, "Laman yirichon emecha al adama." Right? In other words, you can have long life. So this is the present I gave you. You're right. I didn't need my shirt ironed. But the fact that you listened to me and you ironed my shirt, now you acquire this mitzvah of kibbud avayim. So this is the same idea. And he did this. By the way, this person told this over. He was the only survivor of that whole town. This young man was the only survivor of the whole town. He told this story over at his grandson's wedding at the chasna. He told under the chuppah. He told over this story. An amazing idea. What we do, and we have no idea what mitzvahs we do and what a shmirah mitzvahs are. And it's not we can't worry about things. It's not upon us to worry. We just have to do the right thing. We need to do the right thing. And what and people say, "Oh well, what about a shmatim is nafshi seichem and do." Okay, shmatim is nafshi. Okay, so how many people get every day? Like we said the other day, the guy he got run over. And this happens. The guys were on the way to the kotel and they get shot. I mean, come on. The guys are they're standing at a bus, right? And then they get shot. Does anything make sense? Does anything at all make sense? Right? The other week in Israel, they shot 1,200 rockets. 1,200 rockets! Right? Was that right? Yes? Was it 1,200?
It was a lot.
I think they said it was about 1,200 rockets. Okay, so, Baruch Hashem watches us. Hashem watches us. And I believe that's really what it is. And you can't worry about things, and just do the mitzvah, like we said, the mitzvah here of Bikur Chayla. We have no idea what a mitzvah that is. We have no idea what that is, what kind of shmirah that is. If we go and we give somebody that's sick, and we can give them a little aras panim by taking care of them, wow, who knows what kind of shmirah we're getting for ourselves, and all of Klal Yisrael. And all of Klal Yisrael. We have no idea. We just have to always do the right thing. Okay, so let's see now this. We're in Tes Vav. Okay, so 15. Everyone have the place?
Yeah.
This is interesting, right? Now we're talking about Chanukah, so let's talk about a little bit about tzedakah, right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends those aniyim to our door. The doorbell rings, and then most people think, I know, another one's coming, another one. No, we're going to learn something special over here. That every time an ani comes to our door, that's a present that Hashem's sending us. We should cherish that. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is choosing us to be able to do this mitzvah of tzedakah. We'll see now in a minute. Here, let's see. This is what it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives his aura upon him from up on high down to us in our houses. Ki efshel lekabel or pnei melech chayim ki im al yedei tzedakah. You need a merit. We need a merit to be able to accept this aras panim from the Rebbeinu Shalom, from this high place. What we were just learning about tzedakah, right? We need a merit of tzedakah. We need the merit. Ki Moshe kasav ani b'tzedek echse panecha. Ani b'tzedek. Ani. So he's using a play on the words over here. But tzedek is tzedakah. B'tzedek really means righteousness, right? But here we're using ani b'tzedek b'tzedakah. With tzedakah, echse panecha, about to see Hakadosh Baruch Hu, about to see the aras panim.
That's the pasuk we just had.
Yeah.
We said that who said that the one of the Tanaim of the Amoraim who would give a pruta of tzedakah before
davening,
right?
yeah.
Because only then,
only
if he gives the tzedakah can he be.
He can feel the aras panim. You need that. That's what wakes up. That's what gives you the ability to see the aras panim, to see the Rebbeinu Shalom in your life. That's really what we need. We need to see the Rebbeinu Shalom every day in our lives. And therefore, when it came to Shalosh Regalim, when we had ourselves, we had to walk to the Beis Hamikdash. That was the mitzvah. It was Aliyas Regel. We had to use our feet. Lekabel or Aponim. So we went up to Yerushalayim. We went on Derech Avot, right? We said, right? We were going from all over. They were coming from north, and they were coming down, and all of this. I try sometimes to imagine what that might look like, right? It should be one of those beautiful things. All the kids are coming with their fathers, and then they're bringing all their animals with them, and it must have been such a beautiful, beautiful sight. Okay, tzarich ish kematnas yodai lahavi oilas re'iyah. So then we know we had the mitzvah when we finally made it to Yerushalayim. You saw the base of this. There was a mitzvah. You had to bring the burnt offering, the oilus re'iyah, because you saw the base of Hamikdash. K'may shekasav la'yera es perei HaShem reikam. You don't come to see Hakadosh Baruch Hu empty-handed. Aval b'regalim shetzrichen la'alais the base HaShem l'kabel upon and tzrichen la'alais a korban. So now we say when we go to the base of Hamikdash, we have to bring a korban, the oilus re'iyah, right? That was an adava from the person's heart that he felt. He saw the Beis Hamikdash. He saw that, and he felt so special that he had this opportunity, this opportunity to see the Beis Hamikdash. So he wanted to bring a korban. He wanted to do something. Oh, and it was a tircha. It was really a big bond when, like we said, when they were walking with their animals along the whole way. They would take their animals from wherever they were coming, and they would bring their animals. They sold animals in Yerushalayim also. We know that they had the merchants over there, but I guess must have been much more expensive. Sure. Please.
We were learning in Chagiga not long ago.
Yeah.
The Chabur that's doing Megillah.
Yeah.
There's a machlokes like. When you would bring when you come to the Beis Hamikdash, you'd bring the olas re'iyah, which is a korban olah, but you'd also have
korban chagiga,
right, which you would eat.
You have to,
and
exactly.
The Gemara talks about where should you weigh your money. Should you do on the
oilus re'iyah, or you should what you're
going to get? Is really nidvas liba because you're giving it entirely to HaShem.
It's a burnt offering.
So even if he didn't schlep it, the question is he giving his money for that which is going to be kula l'Hashem?
Kula l'Hashem. Why would it enjoy something for me?
But if you give it for the olas re'iyah, it's like, it's all forgotten.
Exactly. No, and then those people that it was difficult for them to take their animals, so they would pay their animal, whatever it was, and they would take the money, and then they would buy an animal in Yerushalayim.
Right.
But I can only imagine what they charge them over there. Right, the price gorging, right?
They say, meaning.
Yeah, see it.
Well, no, that was Yeshu's taina. It was. That's the famous. When he turned over the tables, he was saying you're taking advantage of these guys trying to bring a carbon. You're price gouging them.
Right.
That was like the dishonesty that
Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't get out of my driveway.
Okay. Aval b'Chanukah boyim aniyim l'soich habayis shehem ma'anin tevirin delay. That they are like the kalim, the broken kalim. They are like broken kalim. What does it mean? They're like broken kalim. The aniyim, they feel broken. They see everyone else what they have, and they feel like, well, how come HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give me, and I don't have what I need, and I have to go to door. They feel broken. So the whole point is because the ani feels broken, and when the ani comes to your door, if you offer the ani, you know something, would you like a drink? Would you like a drink? Would you like to use the restroom? Right? These guys are riding around all the time, right? Whatever they're doing, let them use the restroom. Even if you can't give them a lot of money, but show them care, right? Not everyone can give a lot of money, but sometimes you can give them a little bit of money, but they can feel so special via what you gave them, rather than the other guy could have given them, $100 or $500 or 1,000 shekel or whatever they may have done, but they feel like garbage. They make them feel like, and that's the whole point, is the Aras Panim, to make them feel special. Shebahem shechinas ar panav k'may shekasav eshkain es daka. What does eshkain mean? It means I dwell with the daka. What's the daka? The poor, the destitute. HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwells with the destitute. Unbelievable. Now he says, now HaShem is Baruch Ayeves Echad v'roitze lahoy panav. Here, this is the main point of this lesson today, guys. HaShem is Baruch Ayeves Echad. Therefore, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves somebody, He loves you. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us love, v'roitze lahoy panav, and He wants to show you His countenance, He wants you to feel Him in your life. Shaleach loy ani liskois by. He sends you an ani, so you can have the merit to be able to get it. Like you brought that from the Gemara, it's the exact same thing. But this is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's doing us a favor. He's doing us a favor. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. K'may shekasa b'zayir HaKadosh, man dekutche brichu rachim lei, shada lei d'roina. Who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bringing down from the Zayir, who HaKadosh Baruch Hu has compassion on, He arranges a present. He gives them a present. And what's the present? The present, He sends the Ani, so that way you can have in return, you can get the Aras Panim. And we know very much, we know more than the when you give the Ani something, we gain much more than the Ani gets from the money. What we gain is so much greater than what the ani is getting. But we have to recognize that. And of course, the Yetzer Hara makes us, okay, listen, another ani came and another one came. Oh yeah, another one.
It's funny, but it became so complicated these days. It's not exactly one is coming to my door. It's just, I don't know who it is. So Sasha, it's right. So again, no. So Sasha, look, because you don't know who it is, but again, he's still a yid, so you be nice to him. That's the main point he was saying. You can give him something, but you can. But the way you do it, would you like a glass of water? Use the restroom. Can I give you? Would you like a cookie? Would you like whatever? You just do something to make the guy feel at home. Okay. Hashem wants to send His Or upon in our homes. He wants us to experience Him in our homes. In our home, the King is visiting us in our homes.
Just like He does when He sends a ani.
Because He wants. Because He sends the ani first. He sends the ani first. You give the ani some money. You get a benefit now. Yeah. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, now you can experience my light. That's like the entrance fee.
So we're becoming a kli.
We become a kli, exactly, and then by giving the money in the right way, showing our respondent to the ani. Right, by us doing that. So again, that's the Yisarusa de Lasata that triggers the Yisarusa de La'ela. Right, makes sense? Okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends us the aniyim to our house. Kidei liskos bahem, kidei lekabel al yodam or aponim shemeya oz l'toy beiseinu, that He sends to amidst our homes. And this is the whole point of nothing, just making all our mitzvahs come alive. That's what we're seeing here, right? All the things He wants us to make us when we put on our tefillin, to feel that we're holding back the din, we're keeping the din in check. When we tie our shoes and we tie the left one first, I'm trying to keep the din in check. Unbelievable.
When I go to the bathroom, I don't clean myself with my right hand. I use my left hand. Remember we said that all these things, and then we're saying now here with the mitzvah of tzedakah. And the mitzvah is also to give the tzedakah with the right hand, right? That's also in the mitzvah. You're supposed to always give tzedakah with your right hand. And again, if a guy's a lefty, we said, so don't feel, you can always do the other way because we said that's mirrored. So and if a person's a lefty, he can give the money with his left hand.
What's the meaning of giving two hands?
Oh, two hands, because you want to be meshabed. Yeah, that's what Rabbi Nachman says. You want to be meshabed, the gevura that says, no, I don't want to give this money, but I force you. No, you're going to come with me. You're going to give this money.
I thought it was like to use all that's like 10 fingers to like.
No, that's the essence. Spheres, but the basic, it's very deep. But to answer your question, that's the main thing, is to be meshabed the gevura, to force the gevura that says, no, I don't want to give. No, you're going to give anyway.
So you give it two hands.
Yeah, that's
like it was this morning with we have the gevura could be the primary.
That's the primary, but there's chesed in there.
Chesed in there.
And there you go. So now you there you go. That's the mitzvahs. That makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Should we go a little further? We could do another piece.
That's a good idea.
What? Yeah.
Mostly,
What's a good idea?
it's on, through
Okay,
the phone.
fine.
All the zoning and they come mostly
Well-
through the phone now. Like now I have this red alert. No, I have like a,
They don't come to your door,
Spam
and
alert.
I find it.
Mostly
When
they
I
come
lived in
to-
Woodmere, I had all these mishalachim coming from Eretz Yisrael. It was unbelievable. Sunday,
call center.
I would get sometimes 20 of them.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Answer with my
But no, I live over here, and unfortunately, I don't. Maybe I
Well,
don't.
first of all,
Maybe I feel the Aras Panim. I'm in Eretz Yisrael now. I don't
plenty
know.
that come. I mean, there's plenty that come.
Come to your door?
Every night. No, 3, 4, a lot.
Wow. Okay, I guess I'm not on their list. I'm not on their list.
They don't knock on your door?
No.
No, I get all the time.
no, it's down here. This is
When I,
Oh, this street, they coming. You have to live over here by the heck of the fence then.
I had a closet.
they come to me and they're surprised that why I'm not giving them like 100 bills,
Okay,
So also live on top
but
of
again,
the sister.
no, but the main thing is to give whatever you give, you give it in a pleasing way,
Yeah.
in a nice gesture, and that's the main
I
thing.
was
That's
once given a grade 8 out with that, which when I was in Cleveland, I had this. I also would have on Sunday. I mean, also during the weekend, if the driver knows.
the driver. They pay. No, these guys. I figured out that they pay the driver, and he takes a commission from them.
Right. Anyway, I had a closet filled cases of bottled water.
Yeah.
And OU cookies.
Yeah.
Individual cookies, and I had like pre-written out checks.
Oh.
No matter what, I can't talk to every guy. I can't have.
And there you go, and you make him feel like a man.
Boom. Here's water. Here's a cookie.
Oh.
Here's a check, depending on who he is.
Oh,
And that's what we do.
Gibal.
It's
See
great-
that? That's the
great
way you
eats
do
up.
it. See that?
Great eats up.
Did you ever do it?
I did. For
He
years.
said he did it. He had a whole
Years,
closet
yeah,
full
I'm
of stuff.
closet dedicated just-
Amazing. Okay, that's it. That's doing the mitzvahs
The
lamaisa.
thing that really helped me get out of my divorce was I opened up a separate checking account just for tzedakah.
Also,
And that way, 10%, 15, whatever I put
yeah,
in.
that's it. It's not even.
And that money there, I couldn't wait to write a check out of it, because that's not mine anymore.
It's not your money, right? So you're happy to give it. Unbelievable. Beautiful answer. Beautiful idea.
Yeah, I saw that account.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's go further. So now Tes Zayin. So the Rebbe says today in Tes Zayin, V'hine inyan machlaikis beis Shammai beis Hillel. So we were just talking before in the Gemara when you were talking, David, about the Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, right? Beis Hillel's chesed, but he had gvura inside, and Beis Shammai was gvura, but he had chesed inside, right? That's what you were learning before from the Igeres HaKodesh, right? The Hine Inyan Machlaikis Beis Shammai Beis Hillel Inyan his kavas and the foshes Rechaikis Ma'oid she'ein royu min adin likarvam Beis Shammai Oymin Paisech V'Hailech. So in other words, you have some people that unfortunately they did some pretty bad things, right? They're involved in bad things and involved in big averis and different things. So the school of Beis Shammai says, listen, you guys aren't worthy to come into the avodas Hashem. That's what Beis Shammai said. You're not worthy for it. And they said that. Therefore, Beis Shammai said, according to their reasoning, right? Paisich v'ailech. We're going to start with all the light. and we're gonna dazzle you. We're gonna show you. Wow, you think you want to come in over here? We're gonna show you what this light is. They'll be blinded by it. These people that are involved in their Aveira, though, these people, they'll be blinded by the great light. And that's what Beis Shammai is saying. That's according to his time. That's according to his reasoning. Okay? Now, lahalim or mayhem, to hide away, because it's so bright, it'll hide it away from them. Because I'm showing you so much, you can't be mishtamish with it. It's too bright. You know, like when the sun, you know, like in the afternoon, the sun is so strong when you're driving in the car, right? And the sun, whoa! You just can't see. It blinds you. You have to put the thing down, right? Otherwise, it blinds you. So that's what they were trying to do. Shaloi Yizkar, because they didn't want them to come close. You are such a balavera. You get out of here. They can't deal with that. I'm not saying that's the right way, but that was the derech of Beis Shammai. And again, according to the Beis Shammai, again, they're from the side of Gevura, and from the side of Gevura says, listen, hey, look, you're
not worthy.
You're not worthy. Stay out. Get out of here. Get out of here. Right? Well, Beis Hillel, but Beis Hillel says, Ma'aseh Eilech. Beis Hillel says, no, I'm going to show you. I'll show you something beautiful. I'll bring you in. I'll show you something here. Come have a latka. Have something. I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you out and show them the beauty. And they come back again, and they come back in, and they elevate the light. And that's why he says, Ma'aseh Eilech. We'll start with a little bit. Tzimtzum. We'll start with a little bit, and then we'll add a little bit each one, and we'll show them the beauty, and they'll come to whatever level they're going to come to. Because you have to make these kind of kelim and these kind of constrictions when it comes to showing them the light of the Rabbeinu Shalom, because again, they have no connection to it. Their neshama is so far away, so if they see too much, they get scared away. They think they can't deal with them. So you have to show them something very, very small that they can feel that they're attached to. And by them feeling that they're attached to it, they can come closer. That in order that they can feel the light. In other words, if you give them too much, it'll be blinding to them. But if you give them just a little bit of light, very small, that their neshama can ingest that, they can feel something with that. So then that's very, very beneficial. She is to bring them back, and we know that's the way. That's the derech today. No matter, we never say any Jew, no matter what he did, we try to bring every single Jew back. It doesn't matter. Bring him in, and we need to bring all the Klal Yisrael together, and that's what we're trying to do. Hine inyan machlekes this machlekes bechinas klal hamachlekes shebechol dar ala tzadikim hashleimim ha'iskim lekarev nefashes harachaykim laHaShem Yisbarach. So we know in the last. In the last we had just the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zechus Yogan Aleinu, right? Look how many people were opposed to him. Baruch Hashem, he had more people that loved him, and they were with him. But he had a lot of people in the opposition. What he was doing? What do you think you're doing? You're going to go put on tefillin on people. You're going to go bring Shabbos candles to the house. What do you think you're doing? But he was doing the right thing, of course. But there's always opposition. There's always going to be opposition. Rabbi Nachman had opposition, right? The Shmuel Zaydi, right? Mamash wanted to kill him. Unbelievable. We don't understand. Again, these are big things. Rabbi Nachman talks about it, why this is and why we feel these things, but we'll get to that another time. So many of them are coming against them. Even the big tzaddikim are chaylik on them. Look, the Satmar Rebbe was not too fond of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, right? Right? And then you had Rav Shach, right? Right? Rav Shach, what did Rav Shach say? He was very much against Chabad. It was unbelievable. I mean, he said so much so that he said that the mikvahs that the Chabadniks are using, it's not a kosher mikvah. And then the women they're not going to mikvah. Wow. Make a statement like that? You know why that is? Because the Chabad has a bar al gabe bar. I don't know if you know what that is. See, the way the mikvahs that we have is, there's the bar tefillah, and then next to it, there's the bar shaka and the bar zriya. Right? Chabad has it that there's a mikvah underneath, and there's a hole in the floor, and then there's a mikvah on top. bar al gabe bar. There's a bar on top of this. So Rav Shach said that that's no good. It's amazing, in the Feitas, they built a new mikveh. They built a mikveh. They have a beautiful mikveh, and they built a mikveh with both bars. They have a bar al gabe bar, and they have the one on the side. So the Chabadniks and everyone's happy. Unbelievable. Shalom al Yisrael. Shalom al Yisrael. Unbelievable.
So his point here is that like machlokas al pm, like that?
Yes, again, because there was the Gvura. He said he can't deal with it, whatever.
You needed this morning's lesson.
Right.
Yeah, it's David. Come on, are we on track? Are we? Come on, David. Come on. Is Chabad and Breslov connected? Come on. It's not a proof that one is, right? Okay. When you're learning a Geras HaKodesh, they the Mamish the same words, right?
Exactly.
Unbelievable. Because the Midas Hadin is enclosed with inside of them. Unbelievable. They get that hatred. What's tina? It's almost like a poison. It's like almost like a poisonous hatred towards them. Ad shenidma.
Cause them to harbor enmity.
Anger. Hate. Yeah. Shenidma the tina. That's not a good word. It's not a good thing. Ad shenidma lahem ki'ilu einay misnai karaya v'chol kama. As if you're not doing the right thing. But how could they say that? But we don't understand that. But that's what's going on. That's the whole idea of Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. You see these big arguments between both of them. Efrat biyameinu. Rav Noson's writing specifically in our time. Rav Noson wrote this over 200 years ago. The ikvis of Mashiach in the time at the end of the time. And boy, are we at the ikvis of the Mashiach now. We're at the ikvis of Mashiach, right? There was a big kitri between the Talmidim, like we said from the Shpola Zaydi, Rabbi Nachman. He's writing about Rabbi Nachman. Look at the bizyonis he had to deal with, and look how wow. Ad Hashem Mosa Nafshe Neged Mineged, he would fight against them. And he would just work on causing rachmanis and bringing rachmanis for Klai. So to bring them back. Rabbi Nachman. How did Rabbi Nachman ever get to Uman? Do you ever think about that? He was a Rav. He had his whole thing was in Breslov.
His house burned down.
So he could have had another house in Breslov. Yeah. How did he get from Uman, from Breslov? Today it takes 3 hours to drive from. They actually fixed the road now. I couldn't believe it. Last time we went, that road now going to Breslov now, it's a new road. Unbelievable.
It used to be
oh my God, there were craters. No, there was craters. There was craters. Oh no, unbelievable. But they actually, Baruch Hashem, they fixed it. Baruch Hashem. Anyway. So what happened was, because we know there was the Haskalah, was running rampant. The enlightened movement. What do you call that? The enlightened movement. What they call it? Haskalah. We all know. We all know. But now in Uman was a very industrious. It was an industrious city, and there were a lot of aristocrats there, and a lot of the leaders of this Haskalah were in Uman. So Rabbi Nachman went to Uman. He went to Uman to play, and he would play chess.
Yeah,
he would play chess with these guys. He would play chess. We don't know what he accomplished. We don't know what what he was doing. And then how did it come that he wanted to be buried in Uman? Do you know the story? Do you know the story? When he came there, he felt there was such a kedusha in this city, and he didn't know what it was. But years and years before that, there was a big massacre that took place, right?
Huge massacre.
There was a huge massacre. They came and they set up. Uman was a protected city. Uman was a protected city, and what happened was I think it was the Bolsheviks. I don't remember. Shemitsky. Okay. What?
Gunta. And Gunta, he was
Gunta, the
Cossack.
Bolshevik, all of them, all these Rishayim, okay, who cares? They should all be blotted out. But anyway, so they were outside the city and they wanted to come in and they wanted to convert the Jews. And they locked the city, they locked the gates of the city, and they were banging on the gates, and they sent in an emissary they let in an emissary from these guys that were outside, and they went to talk to the governor of the city, and they said that, listen, we're going to get into this city. So either you'll let us into the city, or we're going to break our way into the city. If we break our way into the city, the first person we're going to get is your daughter Sophia.
That's Gan Sophia.
That's Gan Sophia. That's Gan Sophia, right. And what they did was they set up what was called a Shvarza chuppah, a black chuppah, and they put a tzelem, a cross in the front of there, and they told them they have to bow down to the cross. So the first guy said no. They hacked him to death. They didn't just kill him, they hacked him to death. Could you imagine the second guy? Could you imagine the second guy that said no when he just saw what happened to the first guy? And he said no, and he knew what he was in for? They did that to 30,000 people. 30,000 people they murdered. 30,000 Yidden. Al Kiddush HaShem, 30,000. And they were buried right in Uman. So Rabbi Nachman said, I want to be buried amongst these Kedoshim. That's where I want to be.
Mass graves.
Mass grave, yeah, of course. 30,000. Can we understand what that is? 30,000 people.
That's the same number.
They were
as
bludgeoned.
Babi Yar, I think.
Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah.
Babi Yar in Kiev.
Yeah.
That was in the middle of Kiev.
Yeah. So anyway,
Even though we go to the city and we think, doesn't seem as much Kedusha here.
but there is. The Kedoshim are buried over there, and Rabbi Nachman felt that I want to be part of that. That's why I want to be with these, and that's why he came when it was his last year. He came to live in Uman because that's where he wanted to be buried, and that's how he came. That's how Uman came to be a thing. Okay, one more paragraph.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to move to something else. So now we're talking about the machlekes on the tzaddikim. So now we're going to talk Yosef HaTzadik, right? Yosef HaTzadik, right? So now we're going to talk a little about Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef b'chinas HaTzadik Yosef l'kol Hashem Yisbarach ayidei shemaysev ha'olich ha'or b'chol yoyim. Yosef HaTzadik, what he was doing was, he was the tzaddik and he was trying to bring more Jew, he was trying to be Makari people. We're going to see in a second that he would be Nar, as B'nai Zilpa, right? And he would always, the Shvatim that came from the Shifchas, right? So he would always try to play with, to teach them and help them because they felt, like an outcast. They weren't from Leah. They were from the Shivcha. They weren't from Rachel Imena. They were from. So he would work with them. He oisa b'chol pam tzimtzumim v'kelim nifloyim b'oifen sheyuchlu l'skarev kol mi sheroitza b'olam. He would constrict all the light that he had, because he was such a great tzaddik, he had such great knowledge, and he was so close to the Rebbe, but he would constrict it in such a way that anyone can benefit by that. Al Shem Ze Nikra Yosef. That's why his name was Yosef. Look at this, this is amazing. Why? Bechinas Moisef V'Hoilech. Yosef means to add. Right? Yosef means to add. So he's saying Yosef was mamish the same as Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel is the same as Yosef. Why? Moisef, that's the shita. We're going to add the light and increase it. V'ashvatim, afa pisha kulam kedoshim. Even though that all the shvatim, we know that they were kulam kedoshim. They were all holy ones. Kihayu kulam tzadikim gedolim, because they were all great tzadikim. Cholku Allah b'shvil zeh. But they fought with Yosef HaTzadik because of this very reason, because he felt Ma'aseh v'Hailech, but they were really on the idea of Paisach v'Hailech.
Leah's children.
The other Shvatim, they were really going the other way. And Yosef was now a little bit different than them, so they fought with him. Does it make sense now? Does it unbelievable? Rav Nassan's making it make sense. What was going on and what was really the? So everyone says because he made the Kesainis passive and they felt jealous and this. But why did he make the Kesainis? Why did all these things happen? Because this is what was going on. Yaakov Avinu dwelled in the place where his family dwelt. They say that he was Megaya Gerim because Yaakov Avinu was working follow the work of Avraham Avinu. Right, Avraham Avinu's whole idea was right? We said, right? What's a nefesh asher asa b'choron? The Torah says. Right? That was the gerim that Avraham Avinu made. So Yitzchak Avinu took over the holy mission of Avraham Avinu. But again, Yitzchak was on the side of Gvura. So Yitzchak did it in his own way, but it was more of a Pesach v'Heilich type. It was a Pesach v'Heilich type of way. It wasn't a Ma'aseh. But then Yaakov Avinu took it over. Right, Yaakov Avinu took it over, and Yaakov Avinu was the midah of Tferis, which is perfectly balanced between the Chesed and the Gevura. Not too much Chesed, not too much Gevura, just the right measure of Chesed, the right measure of Gevura gives you Yaakov Avinu the Chesed. So Yaakov Avinu was able to teach, was able to also follow this way of Ma'aseh, to add slowly, to bring over the Gerim, and this was the idea of Yaakov Avinu. This was what Yaakov Avinu did. And then he says, now, Vezeh Eila told us Yaakov Yosef. Am I going over too much? What? You have time? Okay. Eila told us Yaakov Yosef. Hainu she Yosef halach b'derech aviv Yaakov. Yosef Avinu followed the way of his father. He followed the way of Yaakov Avinu that followed the way of Yitzchak Avinu that followed the way of Avraham Avinu. To bring back those that were distant from him. That's what what Yosef HaTzadik was doing. We know all the things that happened to Yaakov Avinu, right? The fact that he had to run away for all the years, how many years was? 21 years? He was away. Yosef HaTzadik went also, he was away for all those years. The same things that happened to Yaakov happened to Yosef. Remember, right? Shezeo perish. Eila told this Yaakov Yosef. Moshe perish Rashi. Shekol ma shekibo mishem va'eva masa loy. Here, there's another idea based on Rashi. That what? That whatever Yaakov Avinu learned all those years that he was in Yeshiva Shem va'eva and he was studying. So he taught over that, all of that knowledge he gave over to Yosef HaTzadik. It was mostly like he taught it over to him. V'chol ma she'ever liYaakov, ever liYosef, v'chol zeh nismach lapasik migurei aviv. It's all connected to migurei aviv, which was what Megaya Gerim. Shehu ma shehaya Yaakov Megaya Gerim. V'tekev nismach Eila told us Yaakov Yosef. Right after that, we see the Torah brings us Ve'ela told us Yaakov Yosef. Why does it say Eila told us Yaakov Yosef? Because Yaakov gave over to Yosef everything, and he followed the way that Yaakov Avinu was being Megaya Gerim in that way of Ma'aseh v'Hailech. So too he taught it over what he learned from Shem ve'Ever. He taught it over to Yosef HaTzadik, and Yosef HaTzadik followed that way. Perish Shemasa like Kol Chachmasa. And what was the Chachma? Torah's Chachma. Nothing else is Chachma. Real Chachma is Torah. Yaakov Gerim, Al Yedei Oitzim Chachmasai, Shoyadei Alasai Tzimtzum, Kaela. He knew how to make the tzimtzum. He knew how to make those proper constrictions. Until he was able to fix those spiritually ill. Again, we're talking about Bikur Chaylim. Again, the same idea. Bikur Chaylim is the way we said that the tzaddikim are so involved with the sick, with sick yidden, that yidden are sick, but both ruchnius, both gashmius and ruchnius. That was the order that Rav Nassim gave. It was gashmius and ruchnius. They would take care of the gashmius, but the tzaddik understood it's really the ruchnius. Like we say, refuas ha-nefesh v'refuas ha-guf, right? When we say that we're making mishberach, what do we say? Refuas ha-nefesh v'refuas ha-guf, right? Why do we say refuas ha-nefesh? Because if you fix the nefesh, If you fix the soul of the Jew, so of course you're going to fix the goof of the Jew, the body of the Jew. Yosef was always involved in this kind of, in doing this, in teaching over and giving over in such a constricted way, so it can be a way of Moshe ki Yaakov Moshe like kol chachmasai ki ikra chachma. What's the main chachma? Hu lahachnis hasogas elikus ba'olam. That's the main chachma. That's what we have to remember. If we can give over to people, if we can give over to our brothers and sisters, if we can teach them this idea of hasogas elikus, that is godliness, that you go to shul, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is waiting to hear your tefillah. Say every word like the Rambam says. When you say Psukei D'Zimra, you're supposed to say Psukei D'Zimra like you're counting money. Right? When you count money, you're very careful. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to give too much or too little. You want to give the right amount. So too, when you say the words, you have to be so careful how you enunciate the words, because again, the machshava is not dibur. Right? We said Tzvi was teaching that yesterday. Remember, machshava is not dibur. Right? The idea livnei adam gurasa, to teach the world HaKadosh Baruch Hu's gvura. Okay, I think we're going to stop over here. Okay.
Beautiful.
Wow, Baruch HaShem. Shkoyach Yid.